Welcome to the Early Night Show with Anway Pramanik.
Welcome on this evening to another episode of Early Nights with Anway Pramanik. I'm your host Anway, and today we're going to discuss something that you're going to have a key takeaway from. I think at the end of this, hopefully you'll be like, maybe I have learned something fun today, something that can be a life hack or a mindset going forward. And that's basically understanding the difference between knowledge and expertise and how you go about sharing either with the world, and what it is you charge for, what it is you don't charge for, and how you go about helping people in the process. Because I personally believe that it is our cosmic duty, in quotes, to be a guiding light to those people who are on a path that's very similar to us. Or let me rephrase it. I believe that I want to be a guiding light, a lighthouse, not a beacon of, not a source of knowledge, not a source of, not a guru, not a leader, but to those people who may be looking for possible things they can do, which there might not be a due process for. I believe I would like to give that my experience there, so people can be like, I can do that, I can probably do that, whether that's dropping out of college and still having a job, building yourself mentally, professionally, learning to be more confident, learning how to make deep connections with people, learning how to understand yourself deeply, whatever that is. I like to be not a source of knowledge, not a guru, not a leader, but like a guiding light, like someone who will shed some light on how I solve certain problems in my life, giving certain basically how do I serve as this guiding light to people? I share my problems and how I solve them. It's a 3-step thing basically. I share my problems and how I solve them. Not giving any advice saying you should do this, you should do that, but this is what I did. Second is giving hacks and frameworks to get better. And the third one is talking to someone one-on-one, which is what I spoke about yesterday. Talking to someone, conversations. Today is going to be a little bit more focused on the hacks and frameworks to get better bit. Because usually I always share my problems and how I solve them for myself. Yesterday was about having a conversation, something very one-on-one. Today I would like it to be more framework and mindset and life hack based. So these are the 3 ways that I think you can be, I can be, anyone can be of help to someone else. Now, why I call it a cosmic duty is because I believe that it's the only way to liberate our soul from a lot of attachments that we pick up. A lot of I sound so preachy when I say these things, but I really mean it. The only way to liberate our soul from be free of attachment and desire all your life long, like what Miyamoto says, what the Stoics believe, that your attachments and your desires are what make you weak. And knowing that as a human being, we're always going to have these attachments or build these attachments because of the desires that we intrinsically have. Because without them, we wouldn't be human, right? So it's the only way to liberate ourselves from that. And I'll tell you how. Like, I absolutely believe it's essential to be materialistic and to be selfish. I absolutely believe it's essential to be that. But that's one half of it, right? And let's just talk about that one half. The more materialistic and selfish I think I can be, or rather my primitive ancestors have been, the better they've been able to provide for their groups, which is the second half, right? Now, that's the balance that is always at play, right? Like, when you get rich, you friggin' get rich. But at the end of the day, when you're sitting down to eat, you don't build a higher fence. You build a longer table. That's the difference. So to be able to do that, you need to have a certain percentage of materialism and selfishness to grow yourself to a certain extent. But when I fulfill my cosmic duty, or whenever I have fulfilled this cosmic duty of being a guiding light, of giving, or in those three ways that I spoke of, sharing, hacks and frameworks, and the one-on-ones, you can balance that materialism out. You can liberate the soul. I can liberate my soul from that that attachment that I very strongly feel. Again, I'm not saying that it's not good to have attachment or it's bad to have attachment. All I'm saying is that there has to be a balance to the attachment, right? There has to be a balance. Otherwise, it just becomes a very wholly Epicurean way of living. It's not that you need to be like, oh, I don't have any attachments, but rather, how do I balance this out? How do I make sure that at the end of the day, there is a balance, there is an equilibrium? That's by helping. Now let's just take a sip of something. I think that was a little heavy. Now, it's also very important to be aware of why we are helping others, or why I am helping other people. Now, I've realized there are 5 or 6 things that, the 6 things that I've seen in people causes their desire to help others, right? One is to win admiration, the superhero complex, right? You want to help people to get admired, to be that guy with the cape, the chest out at the end of the day. There's the women swooning over the knight of the superhero. Second is to have control over them, right? Like China does. Very dictatorship, like they will go and help every country out there and then they will take control over them. The third is to expect help in return. And I think this is the most common thing that people do, like they do things and they often expect help in return. And this is, I think, the most balanced out, but I'll tell you also where the problem comes in that. Because I believe that if I'm being nice to you only because you're nice, being nice to me, then there's two things, right? If I'm only being nice to you when you're being nice to me, then what happens if you don't be nice to me or you stop being nice to me? And secondly, at the end of the day, am I a nice person, or am I a nice person because the other person is a nice person? This is it can be get very it's very red pilly, right? Like what I'm talking about, but it's very important to know this. The fourth one is, I think certain people do it because it truly makes them happy. I think Terence McKenna, he truly liked to help people because it brought him that inner, I don't know, that inner, inner completion, inner sense of completion, I guess. I don't know how to put it, to be honest. Next one is to build a sort of philanthropic image, right? If you want to be someone who wants to become known as a philanthropist, wow, that was horrible, a philanthropist, then your PR agency will tell you you need to start helping people, like any multi-billionaire magnate out there. And finally, there is another one for those people who see it as their life's mission to do it. People who end up becoming charity workers, in Africa, or other countries, impoverished countries like that, or people who become ministers, join religious faiths to help people. Maybe even to an extent, me on the fringe of it, but me as well to some extent. Not as a life mission, but I see it as more of a cosmic duty for the soul. Not the life's mission, but the soul's mission. But a lot of people see it as a life's mission. So there's these 7 reasons that I've identified why people are usually helping others. And that's to win admiration, number 1. To have control, number 2. To expect help in return, number 3. To do it because it makes them happy, and that's number 4. To build that philanthropist PR image, 5. And 6 is because they see it as a life mission. Now, maybe you have connected to one of these, or maybe right now you'd like to tell me, but Anway, there's also this 1 extra or 2 extra. It's okay. Maybe I missed it. You can tell me about it. But yeah, so it's important to be aware of this why. And to be honest, I think for me it's a mix of all 7. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I've experienced all 7, and at any given point of time, remember there's this one podcast that I did up that we're always role playing. I think depending on the situation that I'm in, I can do either of these 6, or choose to define why I'm helping someone based on either of these 6. Now, I don't know why I'm talking about this today, but just when there was a basketball game happening downstairs, and at the end of the game, like 2 hours I was there, just cheering all the kids and stuff. And I'm a kid. I was being a kid today. I was a full kid today, like a kid with a beard for some reason. Like this random guy, college kid, just came and sat next to me, and for like 20 minutes, we just spoke about life choices and why we do what we do, and parental influence and dynamics and stuff like that. It was just coming from me, and I don't know if you're listening to this. I can't recall his name. Like, in fact, it's only towards the end of the conversation that we exchanged names. And I love when moments like this happen, because I honestly believe that, like, sometimes help can go beyond familiarity. Like I can be someone who's never met. It's like this, right? It's like human beings will help anything and anyone. Like if you see any charity videos, like this, if you follow this channel called Dodo on YouTube, you've seen like humans go out of their way for animals. It's unbelievable what human beings can do for animals and to help animals. And at the same time, yeah, some of you will be like, yeah, but at the same time, human beings are the only ones who kill animals and eat animals. Well, no. We have industrialized killing animals. That's fucked up. But yeah, it's another topic. So I realized that I love being of help to people no matter what. Like I love being of help. And that from my insights, from the shit that I've done, from the mistakes that I've done, I'll never tell people not to do something because I've done it and it's not worked. Instead, I'll say, you do it twice, macha. Maybe I will do it with you next time and it'll be better for me. But it's never that I say, I ate a cookie, I didn't like the cookie, you shouldn't eat the cookie. It's more like, hey dude, eat the cookie, but know that I didn't like it because of this. And then three things can happen. Either the guy can be like, okay, I'm not going to eat the cookie because you said not to eat the cookie. Or another guy will be like, fuck you, Anway, I'm going to eat the cookie nonetheless. Or there's another guy who says, okay, he eats the cookie and he's like, you're right, but I like it. Maybe if you dip the cookie in milk, that thing will not bother you so much. And I do that and I'm like, it doesn't bother me as much. It's interesting, right? How many dynamics we can have, the different kinds of help that we can give to people. And I believe the first ones, who just mindlessly take what we believe are the ones who will be our worshippers. If anyone is, even if you just have one or two friends, you witness, right? Some people worship other people. They look up to everything they do. So it's the first category of them, of the three that I mentioned, who will worship. The second ones who said, fuck you, man, I'm not going to eat the cookie. They're the rebels. They always exist. They have to. And the third category, who will say, you eat the cookie like this, they will usually be your peers. Anyways, that's again, I'm going off tangent, but I'd like to bring this point up. And if I had not written any of these in my notes, but it's coming up right now, means it's important and I need to explore it. So yeah, the reason why I just told you why I like to help people and why I'm talking about this and why I'm telling you about helping and cosmic duty and the different ways to help people by sharing frameworks, sharing problems, giving frameworks, one-on-ones, and that knowing why you're helping people. Next, we're going to talk about the hindrances. You can't be Mother Teresa all your life, right? So the different hindrances you're going to have as you go about fulfilling this cosmic duty. And the two that I've figured out, one is that the question, how much should I help someone without getting or without expecting something in return? Right, and the second one is, people usually stop valuing your help if you try to help them too much or if you give too much free help, unsolicited help. So how much should you help someone not expecting something in return? And how do you make sure that people don't stop devaluing the help that you're giving? Two problems you're going to have, or two problems that I faced. And I'll tell you a little insight of how these two things work before I get into the solution. And the solution is, the framework is, the mindset is what I spoke of in the beginning, knowledge and expertise. But Let's just put that on a pause for 2 seconds. Now, the question of how much should I help someone without getting something in return? Well, I think we're always getting something in return. The question is if the something we are getting in return is what we want in return. For example, in certain places, like for a long time, I had this mindset I want a lot of money in the places that I'm working. I still do want a lot of money. And the problem was that I was only seeing that as my only takeaway. Today, I believe that in addition to the money, there is also that the way that my character and my personality is being, it's like a sword, right? Like I can be a sword, like the sword is just getting sharpened. It's like a blade being honed, right? So I'll give you an example of what this thought is like. When I used to do freelance work, or rather when I just started my career, dropped out and started, I used to do a lot of free work for people. Initially, I was like, why am I doing all this free work? Then I realized that, yeah, what I'm getting in return is a solid 1 year of work that then helped me build my portfolio. So the next time that I wanted to do work for the next 1 year, what I asked for in return was a stable job where I could learn to sharpen my skills, and in return ask for money. Right? I didn't have to worry about building my portfolio anymore. I rather had to worry about, or rather what I wanted in return was not work to add to my portfolio, but money to add to my bank account for the skills that I'd sharpened the previous year building that portfolio. Initially, I was like, why am I getting such a low salary? Then I realized it's because of how much I'm growing, learning here in an organization, a corporate organization. So you see, as and when the things progress, you're always getting something in return, but you've got to start changing the scope of what you ask for in return, right? So this is another topic we're going to do, but that's what I believe. So if you believe that like helping someone and not getting anything from them except for a shitty attitude is going to make you thick-skinned to bullshit people, that's what you're getting in return. If you're helping someone and you're expecting them to help you back, you've got to let them know that I'm going to pull in a favor someday. Like remember the Godfather beginning scene where he says, help me, and the Godfather said, I'll pull in a favor someday from you. So if you want something in return, understand if it's materialistic, if it is a favor, if it is just the learning of dealing with such people. Just figure that out. So that way you will always know how much you should help someone and how much you should charge, or what you should charge, or what should be the trade. If it's money, it's money. If it's a salary, it's a salary. If it's 1 month of living in their house, it's 1 month of living in their house. If it's free weed for a month, it's free weed for a month. If it's free tickets to a concert, it's free tickets to a concert. If it's whatever. Second thing is, how do you start getting to people? How do you make sure that it's never devalued? And the first thing is to stop giving advice all the time. Right? If you really think that someone really needs advice, just give one word of unsolicited advice. Just one word. When I say one word, I don't mean one word, but can be one rant, one statement, but just once, and leave it at that. And you will automatically know if this person is someone who's going to action it or not. Second is to know whom to give advice based on the track record they have or they may not have. It's important that we stop helping people who are self-destructive, because you get caught in that trap, and it's important not to get stuck in that trap. I've seen a lot of boyfriends and girlfriends get stuck in that trap where the boyfriend wants to help the girlfriend grow and the girlfriend wants to help the boyfriend grow, and the other person is super self-destructive, so nothing happens, and it's horrible. So, is there a solution to this problem, or are we just going to be stuck in this rut of, am I going to help someone or am I gonna not help them? Remember I was talking about knowledge versus expertise towards the beginning of this? Now that's where I start talking about it right now. Here's where I start talking about it. And I'll tell you what I mean by knowledge versus expertise. You guys have watched Harry Potter or read Harry Potter's 6th book? Now, knowledge is that potions book, advanced potion making or whatever that is. The book by itself, Ron's copy or everyone's copy. It's knowledge that can be easily, knowledge about a topic that no matter your level of expertise in that topic can easily be accessed by you. If it's on Wikipedia, that's knowledge. If it's freely published online, it's knowledge. It's generalized. It is very, very generalized information. Now, expertise was the Half-Blood Prince's directions on top of the knowledge. Don't cut the bean, smash it with the other end of the knife. It'll release much more juice. Or, when Harry has to make that little draught of living bread, instead of 11 counterclockwise, you do 10 counterclockwise and 1 clockwise. Something like that, I don't remember. And Hermione's like, why are you doing that? And like, the book says it. So, expertise is information built from insight. You take that knowledge, put it into practice, you learn something from personal experience, and you learn to apply that. That is expertise. Now here's the main ice cream of today's podcast, the main dessert. Remember this statement, right? This is the mindset hack. You can repeat it to yourself 50 times, 100 times. Knowledge is, will be, should be, and always will be, and is always going to be free. Always. If you take knowledge and you try to sell it, people will immediately call you out as a phony guy. Right? That's why a lot of people feel so phony. It's because they try to take knowledge and then they peddle it. They read something in a book and they peddle it. That's knowledge. But the moment you take that knowledge and you apply it into real life and you start giving insights from that real life, that's when it becomes expertise. I'm pretty sure you're not going to, I'm giving you this, what I believe I'm giving you is knowledge. I believe this should be free knowledge, but it's expertise that I've developed. That knowledge should be free, not expertise. If you're a plumber and someone tells you, Macha, how do I fix my plum? You tell them, bro, go online, type, how do I fix my plum? Use MC and you leave it at that. But then he says, I've done that, I've tried this, it's never worked. Your answer is literally going to be use PVC pipe and get M seal and make sure that you remove all the plaster from the previous job before you add or do the work again. That's the answer you need to give. That's the help you need to give that person. But that's where you draw the line, because that's expertise. You tell him, boss, I'm a plumber. Here's my card. You need help? Call me. He'll be like, Macha, do this one favor for me, Macha. You call him out. On back of my card, you can be an asshole here. On the back of my card, write down, I, Paul Albert, owe Anway Pramanik a favor. Sign it. And I'll give you this. So that's how you stop becoming someone who is always helping someone. And that's when you stop others from devaluing your expertise. If someone tells you today, Machak, do one logo for Meda, you figure out, what do you want from this person? If he's someone who's got a t-shirt company, tell him, I'll do the logo for free, but I'm sending you an email that's telling you it's an IOU that when you have your t-shirt line ready, I need 10 t-shirts from you with my logo on it for free. Any size that I want. Free size, basically. If you're an artist, you will come to my house party and you'll perform for free. I'll take care of the tech rider. I'll make your logo, no worries. If you are someone who's starting your a late food delivery business, you come and you share your recipes with me, or whenever I'm having a party, you do a custom order for me, right? If you feel like you don't have to gain anything from these people as an IOU, be like, boss, I need 8K for my logo. I'll give you a visiting card, I'll give you a t-shirt, everything, but I need 8K for this. So they're like, no, Macha, I can't pay you that much, da. Please make the logo, no? You have a choice there. Feel pity for him, become a loser. You can choose to help him. Choose to help him. But then that's when they start devaluing you. And that's when you'll be like, I got nothing in return here, da. Only that, that feel good that I helped someone. That's all. So this is how I believe a good mindset to have when helping people. Always give knowledge for free. Like if someone's saying, Macha, make my logo, be like, bro, there's this amazing website called canva.com. Just go there and type logos and you'll have 50 million different in original logo templates. Or go to freepick.com. I have a premium account. If you want, you tell me, I can give you. You go do the research, select a logo template, select a font, do the customization. I'll download and I'll give it to you for using the premium account. If someone wants something, guide them. Tell them, bro, just go to Canva and type how to make a poster. If they really want that help, like I told you, right, how to decide who to help, not those destructive people who'll be like, fuck da, no one's there to help me to make my poster da, this world sucks da. Screw them. But there's someone who's gonna, at the end of the day, do their best to make that poster. They will do everything. Then they will send you a WhatsApp image saying like, bro, just give me your feedback on this poster. Give your fucking feedback on that poster. That way, your expertise becomes so valued to these people that you can start charging, become a consultant or become a domain expert. So that is how I believe we should help people and have this mindset of Knowledge should always be free, and we should always guide people to that knowledge, being the guiding light, the cosmic duty. Fulfill that by giving them unlimited free knowledge. Share a link. It's as simple as that, right? Takes 10 seconds. Open Firefox or open up Google. How do you make a branding book, or type your favorite branding book? Send them the link, or just send them a WhatsApp voice note. Takes less than 2 seconds. Macha, go on Google, type Anthony Sudeikis, or type The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, and see how he's designed his book cover. I need something, you can do something like that on Canva. Done. I've given him fucking all the knowledge. That took me like 6 months to learn Canva and Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. 6 months. My bad. But if you ask me, Macha, make my book cover, I'll either be like, give me 10 free copies of your book, which I can give as giveaways in my YouTube channel, or give me a shout out on your book, like one chapter where you're writing about my art, something like that. Or I'll tell him, can give me like $50,000, $30,000. It's a book, right? We have to figure it out. What do we want from return? Like if you're an amateur who's designing their first book cover or designing their first graphic cover, what you're getting in return is a portfolio. Telling people, I fucking designed that book cover, man. So you'll get something in return no matter what you ask. But the key sense is in knowing, if you're giving help to someone, what you get in return. And that's by knowledge and experience. This was a great vlog. I mean, if you've stuck around for this long, I think you've had fun. I'm going to be an asshole and just say it shamelessly. You've had fun with me today. I know it for a fact. If you've dropped off, then you're someone who will never reach this part of the podcast. So I can tell you for a fact, these kind of thoughts are not something you will have on the regular. You'll love the entertaining stuff that I do, but you will not have these thoughts. But if you're someone who's stuck around, it's only once in a while that I'll do such in-depth stuff. But when I'll do it, you're going to stick around and you're going to be like, holy fucking Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm trying my best to keep it a little laid back and chill, but I get very excited when I'm talking about something. Maybe I should turn off the lights, but if I turn off the lights, I can't see my notes. Maybe I can write the notes on my screen. It's a thing I have to figure out. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you had an absolute baller of a time. I really do look forward to seeing you on the next one, or look forward to feeling your presence as I'm speaking in my next podcast. Like literally all the people who I've seen have heard my podcast on Spotify. I visualize you sitting in front of me as an audience as I'm speaking. Someday, hopefully. Have a great night. Tomorrow's a Monday. Hope you have a fantastic start to your week tomorrow. I know I will. Thank you for joining me. It was a great podcast. I hope you feel the same. This is Anway Pramanik signing off for another episode. Good night.